You might not realize it, but there are a lot of mind-blowing facts about the real estate industry that most people around the world are completely oblivious to. By the time you finish this video, you're going to walk away with some impressive new knowledge that you can use to impress your friends and start some fascinating new conversations. Stick with me, you'll be glad you did. Let me start by asking you a question. How long do you think it takes to build a 30-story skyscraper? Do you think it takes like a number of months or maybe even years? In China, some builders are able to regularly construct buildings of this size in as little as 15 days. That's right, not 15 months, not 15 weeks, but 15 days. How do they do this? Well, in a lot of cases, what they're doing is they're using prefabricated modules and a construction crew of approximately 200 people working round the clock, 24 hours a day. And because they're so well organized and they have so many building projects that are always waiting to be done, construction companies are able to build dozens of these buildings each month. And given how fast these things can be built, some people might wonder, okay, are these buildings safe? Well, according to a company in China called the Broad Group that's responsible for building a lot of these buildings at breakneck speed, they say that these buildings are able to withstand up to a 9.0 magnitude earthquake, and they adhere to the highest possible environmental standards. So don't let the quick turnaround time fool you. These things are apparently very well built and perform at the same level that it takes American companies years to build. So remember, the next time you're dealing with a really slow general contractor, feel free to let them know that there are people in the world who can build massive buildings a lot faster than most people realize. Most of us who live in first world countries may think we understand what poverty looks like, but if you've ever traveled into some of the deeply poverty-stricken areas of the third world, you've probably seen a whole other level of what it really means to be poor. For instance, did you know that the typical full-size home in many developing countries is 75 square feet total? Its main purpose is to serve as a roof and shelter from the elements, but not a whole lot more. So just keep in mind, the next time you feel like you're running short on space, there's a good chance that unless you live in something like an old refrigerator box, you probably have things a lot better than many other people in the world do. Now, when the average person hears the words Las Vegas, they probably think of images like this. But it might surprise you to know that for the most part, the famous Las Vegas Strip is actually not located in the city of Las Vegas. As a way to avoid paying taxes, most of these buildings are situated in an unincorporated place called Paradise, which is completely surrounded by the city of Las Vegas. Now, despite this, the name Paradise remains relatively unknown because all the zip codes that serve Paradise are assigned to the default place name Las Vegas. So for all of you accountants and CPAs out there, you can go ahead and add this to the list of creative ways to dodge taxes. And speaking of weird facts about big cities, did you know that the Chicago River flows backwards? Back in 1887, the Illinois General Assembly decided to reverse the flow of the Chicago River by taking water from Lake Michigan and discharging it into the Mississippi River watershed. This was partly in response to concerns created by an extreme weather event that happened in 1885 that threatened the city's water supply. Now, if this sounds like a somewhat difficult project, you're right. It's actually a huge deal that they were able to do this. And in 1999, almost 100 years later, the system was named a Civil Engineering Monument of the Millennium by the American Society of Civil Engineers. Now, if you're a germaphobe, or if you own properties that are occupied by germaphobes, you might be interested to know that brass doorknobs disinfect themselves. I know that probably sounds crazy, but it's really a thing, and it's called the oligodynamic effect, which basically means that the ions in the metal have a toxic effect on spores, fungi, viruses, and other germs, eliminating them within 8 hours. And there are actually several different metals that have a very similar effect, including copper, iron, silver, and gold, but brass is by far the most antimicrobial and the least expensive of them all. If you talk to most real estate investors in the United States, you'll kind of hear this ongoing assumption that given enough time, their properties will eventually appreciate in value and become worth more over the long haul. In countries like Japan, however, it's a very different story. Most Japanese houses actually depreciate in value. Half of all the houses built in Japan are demolished within 38 years, and there is virtually no market for pre-owned homes. Because of how the real estate market works in Japan, there are nearly 4 times as many architects per capita and more than twice as many construction workers when compared to the US. So if you're one of those real estate investors who buys for appreciation, Japan is one of those places that you might want to think twice about before you dive into that market. Have you ever dreamed about owning that perfect piece of land where you could go camping in the summertime or build your dream home? Well, if you've spent a lot of time looking at vacant lots for sale and you're still coming up short, you might be interested to know that there's a website that will sell you 1 acre of land on the moon for less than $30 US. So, aside from the fact that you'll never be able to access your land, and even if you could, you would die in a matter of seconds because there wouldn't be any air to breathe, who knows, maybe you could pass it on to your great-great-great-grandchildren so that when humans finally colonize the moon, they'll have someplace to park their space RV. If you could travel back in time and go to New York City in the late 1920s, you'd probably know that there was fierce competition between several buildings in that city to be the next tallest building in the world. Ultimately, the competition narrowed down to 2 contenders. One of them was the Chrysler Building, and the other one was 40 Wall Street. Now, when it became apparent that these 2 buildings were going neck and neck to become the next tallest building in the world, each one of them, while they were both under construction, continued adding flagpoles and other details to inch their way ahead of the other one. Meanwhile, the architect of the Chrysler Building had secretly built a 125-foot long spire inside at the very top. And when 40 Wall Street was completed, the spire was pushed up through the Chrysler Building to make it taller by 119 feet, which at that point made it the clear winner as the tallest building in the world. And I can imagine the architect of 40 Wall Street probably said something like, "Oh, come on." So with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you learned something new here, be sure to leave me a comment and let me know what your favorite real estate fact was. And for that matter, if you happen to know of any interesting real estate facts, leave a comment about that too and let us know about it. If you want to see a lot more fascinating real estate trivia like this, be sure to check out the blog post for this video, which lists a total of 35 mind-blowing but fully verified real estate facts that you'll probably have a hard time believing. And of course, please, if you like this video, be sure to smash that like button and click subscribe for a lot more awesome videos just like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.